Now, many of the animals that call a savanna home are herd animals, which just means that they like to live in large groups, and they will use that herd mentality to make sure that everybody makes it safely through the night. Oh, look at that. Looks like they're all excited for something. But they will take turns sleeping in shifts, and the ones that do lie awake will actually face in all different directions to maintain alert for predators, because they never know which direction they're going to come from. Oh, I love seeing them play. Wildebeest does actually come from the Afrikaans word for wild beast. They are migratory creatures, which just means that they like to travel in those large herds, following rains and other food sources. Other migratory creatures you might be just a little bit more familiar with are going to be butterflies. Completely different, but behave in exactly the same migratory ways. Now, if you look off to the left, up at the top of the den there, laying down, you'll be able to see some spotted hyenas. I am going to pull around, hopefully get you a little bit better look. Oh, there's one lying next to the tree, too. Hopefully this will be able to see all of them. There you go, up on top of the den and then lying down at the base of the tree there over on the left-hand side. Now, hyenas are matriarchal animals, which just means that the females are a little bit more dominant than the males. Even the lowest ranking female hyena still ranks higher than the highest ranking male hyena in the pack. When their babies are born, they're born with all of their teeth and their eyes wide open, which I know sounds mildly terrifying, but it's also very cool. Now, each spotted hyena's coat is unique to each individual creature, and they will actually use those differences to tell each other apart over great distances. It's kind of like how we use each other's facial features to tell each other apart over great distances. On either side of the truck, you'll be able to see the only domesticated species on the reserve. Oh, that one over on the right-hand side is actually a very impressive looking male. Now, these are known as Ankole cattle. Now, Ankole cattle, as I mentioned, are the only domesticated species that you can find here on the reserve. They're also known as the Watusi cattle by the Maasai people who domesticated them here in eastern Kenya. Now, they are characterized by those long horns, which can grow to be about 6 feet long. Now, that sounds like a major headache to be carrying around on your head all day. Hakuna Matata, no worries, they're actually mostly hollow on the inside. It's kind of like a honeycomb structure that allows blood vessels to flow freely through them, carrying cooler blood to the rest of the body. Kind of like a built-in air conditioning system. They're actually mostly used as a sign of wealth rather than a food source. But because that's not really... Oh, look at this, another white-bearded wildebeest over on the right-hand side, nice and close. As I mentioned, they are normally used as a sign of wealth rather than a food source, and since that's not really the kind of wealth that you can keep in a bag, what the Maasai people will do is they'll actually let them go out during the days, roam around freely, kind of do whatever they want, but at night, in order to protect them from predators, they'll herd them into pens made out of thorny brush known as bomas or manyaras. You look at another nice view of an Ankole cow coming up on the right-hand side. But those tall pointed structures that you might have seen on either side of the truck, those are termite mounds. Termite mounds are made out of 3 things: mud, dung, and termite spit. Which, I know sounds kind of gross, but they're actually very cool because they end up being almost as hard as cement. And animals like the white-bearded wildebeest and the gorgeous Ankole cattle, one of which you can see over on the right-hand side there, those horns actually have to be kept down to a specific size in order for them to be comfortable. So what they'll do is they'll actually use them as scratching posts. They'll rub their horns up against them and kind of file them down to a point where they feel comfortable, kind of like how we use fingernail files to keep our fingernails down to size. Same concept. Okay, so I can already spot our next very tall creature. Can anyone see what they are up ahead? Giraffes, correct. Now, does anybody happen to know how tall a giraffe can grow to be? I'll give you a hint, it's the exact same measurement I gave you for a different animal earlier. Oh, I love a good student gold star. That's right, 16 to 20 feet. So about as tall as a crocodile can grow to be long. Now, giraffes only sleep for about 30 minutes a day and only in about 5-minute intervals. Since they do spend about 20 hours a day eating, that does mean that they will sometimes fall asleep standing up with their eyes wide open in the middle of a meal. But it actually works out in their favor because predators won't go after them because they think, why bother? It's alert, it'll see me coming. When in reality, it probably won't. Yeah. Now, when they're born, baby giraffes actually have about a 6-foot drop to the ground, which I know sounds kind of rough, but it actually works out in their favor because the impact is enough to shock them into taking their first breaths. And within about an hour of being born, baby giraffes are able to stand and walk entirely on their own. Which is admittedly much faster than me. Now, since we did get so close to them, did anybody happen to notice what color their tongues were? Yeah, it's like a dark purple, dark blue, blackish color. And I will tell you why right after I point out this other antelope over on the right-hand side, which is very impressive because it is in fact the largest antelope that you can see here on the reserve, the Patterson's eland. They are right around that tree area. They stand about 55 inches shoulder height, and from a standing position, they can both jump and leap 6 feet, which means that if you stand 6 feet or shorter, they can jump right over you with little to no effort. We can tell that those ones are female because they're a little bit lighter tanner in color. And also, the males are a little bit darker slate gray in color. But if you look off to the left-hand side, you'll be able to see 2 elephants. Do you see them? Oh, look at that. Because we are entering elephant country, very appropriately named, as you can see. Now, elephants are another of those matriarchal animals, which just means, again, that the females are a little bit more dominant than the males. They will live in large to small herds of the females and the babies, whereas the males will often live by themselves or in other small groups of single male elephants. There's another view for you over off on the left-hand side there. Now, the boys will live with the rest of the herd till they reach the end of their teenage years, which is usually about 14 to 15. They actually have the second longest teenage year span in the animal kingdom, right behind humans, which can last anywhere from 13 to 45. Yeah.
What about the lions?
What about the lions?
Yeah.
Lions? I didn't see any lions. Did you? I don't know. Maybe we'll see them later. I don't know. Maybe. But if you look off to the left-hand side, can anyone tell me what those creatures are? Correct. Flamingos, which are in fact the largest of all the flamingo species. Those graders, flamingos. Fun fact about them, they're actually not hatched pink. They're hatched kind of a whitish grayish color. Pink actually comes from something called beta-carotene, which is found in brine shrimp, which comprises most of their diet. So it won't be until about 1 to 2 years of a steady diet of that brine shrimp that they'll start to take on that pinkish glow. It's kind of like how humans blush. Yep. Kind of like, same thing with the pink-fat pelicans. When they do start to turn pink, their legs are always the first things to go, so it also kind of looks like they're wearing pink socks. Does anybody happen to know what a group of flamingos is called? It's a flamboyance. Yep. Which is pretty appropriate because they're pretty showy creatures. Now, if you look off to the left-hand side, you'll be able to see probably one of the most exciting things you can see on this entire safari. The giant mud pit. Oh, I guess there's also a Bontebok antelope. No, I'm just kidding. The Bontebok antelope is probably one of the most phenomenal creatures that you can hear about because of its conservation story. But I know the mud pit isn't that exciting, but it is still a really important part of the ecosystem because animals like the elephant and the rhino that we saw back there, they actually have very sensitive skin. It can get dry and cracked really easily, so what they like to do is they like to go into that mud pit, roll around, get a nice coating on there. Not only is it fun for them, but it helps moisturize their skin and acts as a natural sort of sunscreen. But going back to that little antelope back there that I pointed out called the Bontebok, I said it had a pretty phenomenal conservation story, and it does because at one point in its native local area, there were only 17 of them. Like altogether, only 17. But because local farmers saw that their numbers were dwindling, cared enough to do something about it, and put in efforts to raise those numbers back up, there are now more than 20,000 of them, including that one back there. Okay, so if you do look off to the left in between these trees, you'll be able to see the silhouette. It is laying down, but that is going to be a cheetah in between these 2 trees up on the hill here. It is a little bit difficult to see, but cheetahs are in fact among the fastest land mammals, able to reach speeds of up to about 60 miles per hour. Unfortunately, they cannot maintain that speed for very long though. They do actually have such a large recovery period that they will often lose their prey to other large cats. They are, however, the only large cat that hunts primarily during the day. They do have these black teardrop shapes on the inner corners of their eyes, which actually reflect the sun's rays during those daytime hunts. It's kind of like built-in sunglasses. It's actually very cool. Now we are currently passing an outcropping of rocks known as a kopie. That is where large cats like to sun themselves, like over on the left-hand side, that male lion right there. And we'll pull around, get you a better look. There's also going to be a female on the rock next to it. Lions are another of those matriarchal animals. Females are responsible for all of the hunting, whereas the males are responsible for guarding the territory and taking care of the cubs. A lion's roar can be heard by humans from up to about 5 miles away. Now, during the day, they actually have about the same eyesight capabilities as humans, but once nighttime falls and our vision gets significantly worse, their nighttime vision is about 6 times better than ours.
And why doesn't he attack us?
Oh, there's 2 females. Look at that. There's another female laying just a little bit farther down on the ground there. We'll stop right about here. Now lions and cheetahs actually have about a 30% success rate with their hunts. And since they do have to conserve energy, lions will actually remain inactive for about 16 to 20 hours a day. And I say inactive, not sleeping, because sleeping makes them sound kind of lazy. Inactive just means that they do have to save up all of that energy because they never know when their next meal is going to come. Oh, so I just realized that I never told you why the giraffe's tongue is that dark black color. Now, it's because the giraffe does spend so much of its day eating, and therefore the tongue does spend so much time outside the mouth. Scientists think that it's actually to help prevent the tongue from getting sunburned. Yeah. Okay, so over on the right-hand side, we're going to be two antelope. Oh, you're going to see another bontebok lying down just a little bit farther to the left. But those two antelope that look a little bit like donkeys, but they are in fact antelope, those are known as waterbucks. Now, waterbuck do get their name from the fact that they are so very rarely found far from a water source. Oh, and do you see those shiny rocks down there at the bottom there? Do you see the shiny rocks? Do you maybe catch that it's a trick question? They're not actually rocks. They're eggs. Specifically,